Greetings, folks. For Ag and Natural Resources Marketing, I'm David Ammon, and you're watching Renew, the show about the amazing students, faculty, and staff of the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University. Today, we're joined by Dr. Jacob Gines. Dr. Gines is an associate professor of architecture as well as sustainable bioproducts. He has a joint professorship, and he's the inaugural Mississippi Lumber Manufacturers Association Endowed Professor in Innovative Wood Construction and Design, Mass Timber. Dr. Gines, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We'll get back into your joint professorship here in a little bit, but first, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Why did you choose Mississippi State University?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm from the Intermountain West, so I'm from out west and grew up in the state of Utah.
Nice.
Loved growing up out there. I have fond memories of traveling with my family in the mountains, hiking, camping, fishing, all of those kinds of things.
Nice.
And one of my favorite memories is with my wife, hiking to the summit of Pfeifferhorn Peak in Utah. It's just really beautiful, really incredible. And later in my life, I got into fly fishing, and so living in Mississippi, it's a different kind of fishing than fly fishing, so I missed that a little bit. But we came to Mississippi in the fall of 2012.
Okay.
I had been teaching at the University of Utah part-time as an adjunct and then practicing full-time in an architecture firm in Salt Lake City, and I just had an opportunity to come for a one-year visiting. And my wife and I have always thought, you can do anything for a year.
Right.
So I came and I interviewed, and I got back to Utah and I said, Audrey, I think we're moving to Mississippi. And so we packed our bags and came out, and that rolled into a tenure track position, and we've been here ever since and raised our kids here, and it's been wonderful to be here at MSU and be part of this community.
Well, that's awesome. We're glad to have you. It's a pretty nice part of the country, I think. Yeah. Going back to your joint professorship, could you tell us a little bit about the Mississippi Lumber Manufacturers Association Endowed Professorship, and what are the goals and objectives of this position, and what assets do you think you bring to it? Yeah,
so MLMA is this incredible group of visionaries within the forest and forest products industry, and they came together and they understood that there was this real need to join industry and the professions, architecture, contracting, developers, together to advance an agenda that's centered around mass timber and wood innovation.
Right.
And so part of that mission, part of their goal, was to develop and fund this endowed professorship, which is just really kind of incredible, really one of a kind kind of thing across the U.S. And so I think that it's about strengthening partnerships. It's about educating our students in mass timber and wood innovation, and getting them out there in the industry and in the professions to advocate for the use of wood and mass timber. And I think part of that too is also, how do we continue to attract industry within the state of Mississippi that's focused on forest products? How can we help and encourage and support the existing industry that is here and help grow that? And so I think my background is well suited for that. My background in architecture, I've been teaching mass timber design studios since 2015. At that time, people thought I was crazy. The first project that we did was a 20-story mass timber tower in Manhattan. And I remember talking to some folks, and they said, that can't be done. You can't do that with wood. I said, oh yeah, you can. It had just come on the heels of a study that an architect had done, reimagining the Empire State Building built out of wood versus steel and concrete. And I thought, well, if they can do that, we can surely do a 20-story tower. And it was a huge success. And since that time, we've been teaching mass timber design studios there, as well as collaborating with the Department of Sustainable Bioproducts, the Mississippi Forestry Association, and MLMA on getting our students out to the forest and in the mills, doing some just really incredible things together.
Yeah, it sounds like with your academic and professional experience and your background, this professorship was made for you. You seem like the perfect fit for sure. And going back to your background a little bit, can you share an early memory of being inspired by architecture and why you decided to pursue it as a career?
Yeah, so some people might think this is weird because it doesn't have to do with wood.
Right.
But I'm going to talk about stone for a minute. So I had this really wonderful opportunity. After I graduated high school, I took a year and went to college, and then I lived in England and Wales for a couple of years doing missionary service for my
Very cool.
church. And I lived in Bath, England, which is this incredible city. It's built of Bath stone, which is locally kind of harvested there. And so it has this really unique identity to it. Everything's built out of this stone, from the Roman baths that are there to a couple of landmarks, one called the Circus, one called the Royal Crescent. The River Avon comes through the city with the Pulteney Bridge that goes across.
Sounds
And
beautiful.
there's the Big Apple. It is an incredible city. And it was, being from, I grew up in a city, but not that kind of city. So really my first opportunity to be in that kind of urban environment and around architecture that was older than I could remember.
Sure.
And to be immersed in a place of such history and culture and people and beautiful architecture was just amazing. So I think it had a huge impact on me that when I returned home from that experience and the girl who would later become my future wife wanted to know what I would do with my life.
Right.
We started talking about architecture, and she had a friend whose father was an architect.
Okay.
And I met with him and started to take classes and just fell in love with the art, fell in love with the profession, and have loved it ever since.
Well, very cool, very cool. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
Want a career as big as the outdoors? Want to have an impact on the environment? The College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University delivers hands-on training, ensuring clean air and water, wildlife habitats, and a sustainable environment. Creating new wood products and retooling old ones for today and tomorrow. Find a career in whatever path you choose. Majors in forestry, natural resource and environmental conservation, sustainable bioproducts, wildlife, fisheries, and aquaculture. Want a career as big as the outdoors? Choose the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University.
Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. Jacob Gines. Dr. Gines, you earned your terminal degree in architecture back in 2007. What drove you to go back to school for your PhD in sustainable bioproducts when you were so far along in your career?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, it was not on my radar as something I was thinking about. But the more that I got immersed in the research that I was doing here at Mississippi State and working in the collaborative teams with the Department of Sustainable Bioproducts, Dr. Ruben Schmolsky has always been a fantastic supporter of me. Dr. Dan Seal always opened up his labs to me and my students to come in and break some 2x12s and talk about wood innovation and design values and the critical work that they had been doing. And so there was that relationship, but I also wanted to grow my network. I wanted to grow my understanding in wood science. And so one day I sent Dr. Schmolsky a text and said, "Hey, are you available to meet?" I went to his office, sat down, and I said, "What would it look like for an architecture professor to get a PhD in your program?" He sat up in his seat, got excited, and from that day we started to game plan what that would look like.
Sure.
And it was an incredibly rewarding experience. It did everything that I hoped it would. Increased a network, got me connected with folks that I maybe wouldn't have had access to.
Sure.
It opened up doors for research and creative activities, and just strengthened a really wonderful partnership, not only with the department, but with the industry partners as well. It's just been really amazing. So I got that question a lot from some of my friends. Why would you do this now? And they would want to know what's your end game?
Right.
And I said, I don't know. I just want to do it. And it was just an incredible experience, and loved it.
Awesome. Speaking of the industries involved, what potential do you see for MSU and the state of Mississippi to be major players in the mass timber design and construction industries.
Yeah, so we are a timber state.
Sure.
So that confronted me right off the bat when I came to Mississippi. Said, this is what we do. This is in large part who we are.
Right.
And so I think we already do some really incredible things. Our mill owners and forest products folks are, they're innovators, and they're upgrading, and they're doing all these amazing things. Since I started teaching my mass timber studio and teaching other courses on wood innovation, we've been graduating dozens of students every year who have a background in wood design and mass timber design.
Nice.
Really amazing stuff. Now, I do think that, we have one mass timber building in the state of Mississippi. We don't have any mass timber manufacturing in terms of like cross-laminated timber in the state of Mississippi. I think these are two enormous areas in which we have growth potential to strengthen our local economies, but also provide, through providing jobs and resources and all these kinds of things, to create a higher market value for our forest products as well through these innovative wood products, and then bringing that back into the classroom and providing opportunities for faculty and students to engage in those areas and move the needle forward.
Very cool. For those who aren't familiar, could you speak a little of cross-laminated timber, why it's maybe preferred to steel in some applications? Like, why is this such an innovative new industry we should be a part of?
Yeah, so cross-laminated timber is basically, think of it as taking like 2x4s, laminating them, and then cross-laminating them and stacking them into panels that could be 8 to 10 feet wide by 30, 40, 50 feet long. So kind of plank construction, if you will. One of the greatest benefits, I think, of mass timber versus steel and concrete is it's a renewable material. Based on our forest practices, we are growing more timber than we're harvesting. And the great thing about wood is we can regrow it. Where steel and concrete, those are natural resources that there's a certain amount of them, but we can keep growing the trees. And so we can build in a way that's sustainable, that's also beautiful, strong, durable. There's been incredible testing by researchers and engineers looking at those properties with wood. And I think for architects and contractors and developers, it's an amazing material because of the impact that it can have on the quality of life, whether it's an office building or a residential building. And so it's renewable, it's sustainable properties, its ability to sequester carbon is just unparalleled.
Well, that's outstanding stuff, man, outstanding stuff. Well, Dr. Gines, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for joining us today. That's going to be all for this episode of Renew. If you'd like to check out previous episodes, you can go to our website at cfr.msstate.edu. There you'll find our social media links. Directly, you can go to CFR Vids at YouTube, and then you'll find previous episodes there as well. Thank you very much for watching.